Morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and I've got another detailed weather forecast update coming your way for Wednesday, the 29th of October 2025. Lots to get through today, including another severe thunderstorm outbreak this weekend across Southeast Queensland. Storms are likely on both Saturday and Sunday, or on Saturday they could get quite strong and potentially severe. So I'm going to get through all of the details for the Brisbane and the Gold Coast area first off. Then we'll talk about the rainfall and thunderstorm situation across northern and far northern Queensland, and also then eventually into the Northern Territory and Western Australia, and the rainfall situation across Southeast Australia to follow that. All the details on those events plus more coming up in today's weather forecast update. If you're brand new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, but let's get stuck straight into things with the storm forecast over in Southeast Queensland. Now you can see the last 24 hours have been rain filled, and a lot of rainfall at that as well, up to 60 millimetres through the Brisbane city area, increasing to 100 millimetres down on the Gold Coast, and in fact a few spots including Upper Springbrook copped 140 millimetres of rainfall, and that is just in the last 24 hours. So what we were expecting to be good rainfall has now turned out to be great rainfall, and to couple with that, no flooding has eventuated from this rainfall as well. It's now clearing off out into the Coral Sea, but there is now more on the way. Have a look out to this weekend. Lots of rainfall and thunderstorm activity is expected through Southeast Queensland as we push this forecast forward. Chance of thunderstorms this afternoon on the Capricornia coastline. Not looking at anything too crazy there. There's just not enough instability for thunderstorms. Tomorrow afternoon could bring a few thunderstorms into the Sunshine Coast, but again, instability looks to be a weak factor in tomorrow afternoon's storm potential. And you can see from a sounding perspective as well, there's not that much in the way of extreme wind shear, and also in the way of moisture as well. There's not an awful lot in the way of moisture in the atmosphere. So tomorrow afternoon we may see a bit of an outbreak along the Sunshine Coast, particularly north of Caboolture up to about Noosa, of some potentially weak thunderstorms there. But again, I don't really foresee the chance of anything too crazy occurring at this point in time. We may see some stronger stuff further inland, and one or two severe thunderstorms cannot be ruled out, mainly for damaging winds, heavy rainfall and some small hailstones. Friday will bring a chance of thunderstorms once again through parts of southeastern Queensland, particularly through the Sunshine Coast. We'll see some thunderstorms developing into the northern parts of the Sunshine Coast, then into the Fraser Coast and up into the Capricornia coastline. Potentially some stronger thunderstorms on Friday afternoon. There's going to be quite a lot of that instability, that cape moving into this part of Queensland, and that could throw out one or two strong thunderstorms as well. And again, take a look at the sounding, very high levels of wind shear expected on Friday. There is some good readings in terms of dew points and temperatures through the atmosphere, but again, it really doesn't look too flash for a very potent outbreak of severe thunderstorms, and I think that's kind of the general trend over the next 4 days. We've got some of the conditions there, but not everyone is coming to the party, and that's why severe thunderstorms are not really a slam dunk forecast like they were last weekend. They will develop in an isolated fashion, particularly on Friday and of course on Saturday, but they're not expected to be as widespread or as expansive or as strong as what they were last weekend. Now Saturday is a bit of a bigger day. We're looking at the chance of thunderstorms, most likely with the pulse thunderstorm variety further inland out into central Queensland, Roma, Chinchilla, Taroom and Injune in the firing line, and then some potentially strong thunderstorms through the northeast of New South Wales over the border, so Glen Innes, Armidale down to Tamworth, and inland along the mid-north coast and into the northeast slopes as well. We may be seeing some stronger thunderstorm activity. Again, convective available potential energy is going to be high, but all of the conditions that are necessary for severe thunderstorm activity aren't really coming to the party. We have those extreme convective available potential energy values into the Brisbane city area, which will always present us with the risk of severe thunderstorms, and if they do get themselves off the ground, then they could get quite strong. But again, we don't really have that much in the way of wind shear. 50 to 55 knots of wind shear in the upper parts of the environment. It's not enough for supercells, so it's not really going to be enough of those very ultra strong, powerful severe thunderstorms, but it also isn't going to be enough of those moderately strong severe thunderstorms either. So whilst thunderstorms on Saturday afternoon and evening are likely, we're going to be more talking about a classic thunderstorm setup across southeast Queensland, as opposed to that severe thunderstorm setup that we are used to seeing at this time of year. A couple of strong pulse thunderstorms likely. We may see some strong wind gusts here and there at this point in time on Saturday afternoon and evening through southeast Queensland, including for Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and likely coming with that some more decent rainfall accumulations as well, between 20 to 40 millimetres depending on where thunderstorms move through. But in terms of really gnarly severe thunderstorm impacts, it's not looking overly favourable at this point in time. Some stronger stuff is most certainly a possibility, and I think that this is definitely something we're going to have to watch quite closely over the next couple of days. But just looking at this, it's not overly conducive for a powerful severe thunderstorm setup at this point in time. So there may be some conflicting reports over the coming few days. I've definitely seen some already from some of the forecast models. There's some that are going ham with this weekend severe thunderstorm setup, and others that are really holding back, like the forecast that I'm showing you right now. But I would just like to say that it's not as great as last weekend setups. We're not looking at anything as crazy as last weekend. but the chance is there, and it's definitely a factor to watch now. It's definitely a factor on the forecast models that we need to pay close attention to. Sunday will bring a more expansive risk of severe thunderstorms, but a much tighter risk of thunderstorms in general. We're not expecting as many thunderstorms, but what storms do develop may become severe a lot more quickly. And you can see on Sunday we do have a little bit more wind shear in the upper levels of the environment, and also just a bit more of that dry air in the mid levels, which will favour that hail risk as well. But again, we're looking a bit more further inland here over the Wivenhoe outlook and inland from the Sunshine Coast into the south and the North Burnett forecast districts, and it's less of a Brisbane concern at this point in time on Sunday, but still the chance of a thunderstorm on Sunday through the Brisbane city area. And then things quieten down a little bit. You can see the 3rd of November and the 4th of November, whilst bringing the chance of thunderstorms, it's more of a north central Queensland type risk, inland from Rockhampton, then up towards Mackay and Moranbah, for example. But the thunderstorm risk across southeast Queensland really does begin to reduce. And then you can see the next outbreak that we're going to be tracking is sometime out towards mid-November, when thunderstorms do begin to surge once again after about the 10th of November through southeast Queensland. So this weekend is all that we've got to keep ourselves busy until that outbreak in mid-November. So the key takeaways that I want you to take away from this forecast right now is thunderstorms are likely on Saturday and Sunday through southeast Queensland, especially on Saturday through Brisbane and the Gold Coast. And this will also go for Toowoomba, Warwick, Kingaroy, the Sunshine Coast, and then out towards Chinchilla, Roma, Injune and Taroom as well. Severe thunderstorms are a possibility, but whatever thunderstorms do develop are not going to be on that stronger end of thunderstorms that we see at this time of the year. They're likely to be on the weaker side, and definitely a lot of inhibiting factors ahead for this weekend at this point in time. The only way is up though. This forecast is only going to deteriorate for severe thunderstorms. We're only going to be looking at a chance increasing for severe thunderstorm potential. And again, given the time of the year and also the convective available potential energy values that I'm beginning to see as well on the forecast models, I highly doubt that we're going to see a lackluster outbreak on Saturday. I definitely think there's going to be a couple of strong thunderstorms thrown into the mix. Large hailstones, heavy rainfall, and damaging to locally destructive wind gusts are most certainly a possibility. But right now, the forecast model's really holding back, really being quite conservative, and I'm going to be quite conservative as a result as well. It might not get warm enough, it might not get hot enough, it might not get humid enough, and it may not be a sheared enough environment for these severe thunderstorms. So it very much is a wait and see type waiting game. I'll have much more information today over on the Facebook page, including a proper detailed write-up on what's stopping these thunderstorms from developing, and I'll let you know exactly what you can be expecting this weekend, particularly on Saturday, over on the Facebook page. So make sure you are following over there as well. That'll do it though for southeast Queensland. We've been pretty comprehensive there, as we normally are at this time of the year. In terms of other interesting factors happening on the forecast up and towards northern Queensland, you can see not much in the way of rainfall is expected. We do have some showers and thunderstorms expected to be quite sporadic once again as we get out towards the later parts of this week. Some more shower activity is possible through northern parts of Queensland through Friday, particularly along the Cassowary Coast on Friday, but most of it is just going to be concentrated into those much wetter locations along the Cassowary Coast and the Daintree Rainforest, before thunderstorms return around the 3rd or the 4th of November and persist for a couple of days along the North Queensland coastline, easing off again on the 6th, and not much is expected thereafter, at least on the short range numerical weather modelling that we're looking at right now. There is some rumbles of activity towards the end of November, but we're not going to know the details on that until later on in the month of November. Rainfall accumulations, though, still quite lackluster. We haven't seen a proper uptick in rainfall just yet, and you can see there's no place that's really running away with the rainfall either. I do expect the top of the Cape York Peninsula to continue to be wet, where they're definitely finding themselves in the thick of things regarding thunderstorms, and shower activity is also expected to continue to build over the coming couple of weeks through the top end of the Cape York Peninsula, and that will also carry over in towards the Gulf of Carpentaria coastline and into the northern parts of the Northern Territory. Bit of a mean thunderstorm that's blown up over the last couple of hours through the top end of the Northern Territory that's now moving just to the south of Darwin. You can see it's been rather slow moving, but a pretty impressive convective blow up as well. You can see there's some pretty tall cloud tops and lots of lightning developing now just towards the north of Wadeye over the waters of the Timor Sea, and that's pretty typical for this time of the year. Now, the Northern Territory is very stormy at this time of the year. More thunderstorms expected this afternoon and this evening, and a lot of thunderstorm activity is generally expected throughout the remainder of this week, and this will also carry over as well into the first weeks of November. You can see thunderstorm activity is just expected to be a daily occurrence as we would normally see. Nothing out of the ordinary is expected. These thunderstorms will also carry over into the Kimberley region of Western Australia and also into parts of the Pilbara region. Again, a stormy picture is expected through the last day of October out to Friday, and then through the first couple of weeks of November, a stormy picture is to be painted across especially the Kimberley region, but also through the northern parts of the Pilbara and the north interior as well. Lots of thunderstorms, lots of shower activity as heat really begins to build and that tropical moisture begins to to seep into the weather scene across northern WA and the northern parts of the Northern Territory as well. Again, a quintessential picture for this time of the year and not something to be worried about or concerned about at all at this point in time. Rainfall accumulations are looking quite healthy as well. I mean, if we have a look at rainfall accumulations across the northern parts of the NT and also for Western Australia, you can see some decent rainfall accumulations and some falls are expected over the next 2 weeks. And considering that the majority of this is coming from pretty predictable convective-based thunderstorm activity, I feel pretty confident in saying that the northwest coast of the NT right up towards Darwin is looking at least 100 millimetres of rainfall, depending on what thunderstorms come through over the next 2 weeks. And that is a true sign of build-up conditions now beginning to dominate the scene across the northern parts of the NT. And this also carries over in towards Western Australia as well. You can see some solid rainfall activity is expected across the northern parts of the Kimberley region, and some showers and thunderstorms expected to be widespread through the Pilbara region and then into the interior of Western Australia. Beyond about the 5th of November, the forecast does become a little bit murky, but we may be talking about some rainfall carrying over into parts of the goldfields, and a proper severe thunderstorm outbreak could be on the cards through interior parts of WA as we get out to about the 10th of November. So that'll be an interesting feature to watch, and certainly something that I would be very keen to get out and start tracking, if not chasing as well. Now, severe thunderstorms are not expected through southwestern WA, but we do have a bit of a rainfall or rain-bearing low pressure system pushing, and that's bringing a few light showers into the Perth metro area throughout the course of this morning, of course, considering I washed my car yesterday. This rainfall is not expected to last too long. We're expecting this showers and rainfall activity to clear out by the end of this morning, and we can see that there is a few showers and maybe a storm or two possible over the southwest land division through tomorrow, and then showers do return a little bit more strongly and a little bit more widespread on Friday. But then after that, you can see shower and rainfall activity expected to steer clear of WA for at least a week after the 1st of November, and you can see maybe a couple of showers and storms possible around the 5th or the 6th of November. But then thereafter, the shower and rainfall activity is very minimal across southwestern WA. But like I said, that big low pressure system and west coast trough activity could spark a bit of a thunderstorm outbreak through parts of the goldfields and even into parts of the eastern wheat belt, and that is a feature that I'll be watching very closely and very attentively in the next couple of days. Now, we've had rumbles of activity into the first week of November suggesting a low pressure system into the Tasman Sea. This is a feature to watch, considering it could bring some much needed rainfall to the Gippsland coastline and also to parts of southeastern New South Wales as well. Shower and thunderstorm activity is pushing into central Victoria throughout the course of Friday, and that could present the risk of some severe thunderstorms through interior parts of Victoria on Friday as well. The risk isn't too high and it's going to be pretty sporadic in nature, but a few severe thunderstorms are possible through central Victoria. And then as we push things forward, you can see the rainfall does begin to build around the 3rd or the 4th of November, and we may be seeing some heavier falls, particularly around coastal locations and through the Vic Alps, where falls between 20 to 60 millimetres are a possibility, and then falls between 10 to 30 millimetres are expected, generally speaking, through rural Victoria. Much needed rainfall for those locations. We'll be very happy to see that eventuate, but it doesn't really stick around longer. You can see this low pressure system, as quick as it pipes up on the 3rd, it's leaving us basically on the 5th and the 6th. It will definitely cool things down, and once again, November looking to be well below average in terms of temperatures through Victoria, with these cold fronts and these winter storms that are still blowing through into the month of November. Can you believe it? And then rainfall and shower activity is continuing to build through parts of New South Wales. We may be talking about another low pressure system as we get out towards mid-November, but I would take this with a very heavy pinch of salt, considering forecast models are generally very much hit or miss as we get out towards mid-November. But seeing that we're starting to get a bit of congruency now between the ECMWF and the GFS, and also by extension the Axis is calling for the same rain-bearing weather event over in the left-hand side of your screen to be moving through at around the exact same time as the other forecast models, it may be a feature to watch. We may be talking about an uptick in rainfall around the 10th to the 15th of November through parts of New South Wales and then into parts of southern Queensland. Again, always looking out for features like this on the long-range forecast. Now, for Southeast Queensland, make sure you do stay in the know regarding the severe thunderstorms that are possible this weekend. It doesn't look like a potent outbreak, and it's not something I'm overly concerned about at this point in time, but it is definitely a feature now, and it's something to be keeping in the back of your head in terms of severe thunderstorm potential and just in terms of the big player in this weekend's weather outlook. I'll have more information on this weather event tomorrow, and I'll also have more information throughout the course of today over on the Facebook page, so make sure you do go and check that out. There's a link in the description. Well, that is going to be all for me today. A special shout out, of course, to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now. I could not run the show without them, and as always, their support is massively appreciated. But that's going to do it for me today. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next storm. Goodbye.